All right, so hopefully you're seeing some slides. I've got my chat going here. I am so happy to be with you all. My name is Daniel Hatcher. I'm the Director of Community Partnerships at the Alliance for a Healthier Generation. If you're not familiar with us, we're a national children's health nonprofit, and we're really excited about helping folks like you get access to good resources to help kids eat active and stay healthy and connect with the adults in their life. Thank you, Tia, for setting this up. We are huge fans and partners of Boost. Both the conference, the blog, all the stuff you do is just awesome. So thank you for getting this series organized today. So I'm going to spend my time focusing on health and nutrition and for the summer. And we're going to lean into some budget-friendly summer activities. And really happy to follow Clarissa, because typically when we do this presentation live, she talks about the summer meal program, and then I can come in with enrichment activities. So it's fun to be able to do that virtually with you all. Super excited to be here. So don't worry, you'll get these slides. So you'll notice I've got resources on almost every single slide. So you'll get the links, so you'll be able to explore more. Lots of stuff that you can share with staff and students and families as well. All right, so I have kind of 4 quick intentions. We're going to practice some budget-friendly resources. We're going to connect with each other. I love that everyone's on video. During this time of uncertainty, this is so important to be able to connect with each other and just know that we're all in this together. We're going to have a little action plan exercise toward the end of my slides. And most importantly, I just want you to have a good time, smile, have fun. I think that's the characteristic of all things Boost, is you remember having a good time. So hopefully today's this session will be enjoyable. So let's dive right in. So the first resource I wanted to share really does connect social emotional learning with nutrition. So these cards that you see on your screen, these are free printable. With our partners at the National Recreation and Park Association developed these, and they're conversation starters. So if you're having a quick chat with families who are coming by a meal site, or maybe you're thinking of fun questions to ask your own family, or you're having virtual conversations with folks in programs, these are a great resource that you can use. So I pulled out 2 of my favorites. The first one here says, if you have a garden, what would you like to grow? So let's give that one a go. So use the chat box, share your name, and if you had a garden, what would you like to grow? Mangoes. Wish I could grow mangoes here in DC. Thanks, Melody. Peppers, jalapenos, watermelon, tomatoes, cucumbers, pineapples, tomatoes, celery, a cactus, herbs, cherries, avocados. These are great examples. So I like this resource because if you're thinking about ways to lift up youth voice and give young people opportunity to talk about nutrition in an approachable way, these resources are a perfect first step. And we've all had that experience where you're eating a meal and you don't know anyone. Using these intentional conversation starters are a great way to help folks connect. So even if you're having programming virtually this summer, you can still weave these cards in. And you're more than welcome to borrow this slide and add whatever question you like from the conversation cards to your trainings. I will say that you are more than welcome to stand up and stretch as I go through these slides. I'll try my best to explain what you'd be seeing on the screen. So definitely feel free to move a little bit. All right, so the next resource I want to pass along is a tool we developed with our partners at Kohl's. We have a campaign going right now called Healthy at Home. And the summer is focused on physical activity. We actually just wrapped up a healthy eating portion of the campaign. And this is one of my favorite resources. It's the Healthy Day Checklist. So we are all overwhelmed this summer. So this checklist, I think, is a really great tool to distill down some simple practices. So Tia, if you're thinking about your day and you're like, all right, I want to work on 1 or 2 things that'll make me have a healthier day and have a greater sense of well-being, you could pick out a couple of these things. And it's just a simple reminder. I, of course, I pulled out hydration because I wanted the next few minutes to be hydration themed because it's hot. I thought it was pretty relevant. So I pulled out hydration. You can see that is on the checklist. So again, don't worry, you'll get a link to this. It's a great resource you can pass along to families. If folks are coming by your site and picking up a meal, you could print a few of these out and put them in the package that the family is receiving. You could put it in an email listserv, social media. So our goal is just to give you good tools and resources that you can pass on to engage with families. And of course, promote staff well-being this summer. All right, so it wouldn't be a Healthier Generation presentation if we didn't do an activity together. So I have made a little game here around infused water. So there are cards on your screen that have things like melons, stone fruit, summer squash, apples, and pears. Of course, I've got a card that says water. So I want you to think about if you were to make an infused water and try something new, what would your recipe be? So look at the cards on the screen and think about what maybe it's infused water you're already trying. It could be something you want to try out. I'll show you, I've got my cucumber water going today. Cucumber watermelon with mint. Thanks, Katie. Chris says melon and squash. Awesome. So this is, again, just a simple activity that you can play with students or your staff, again, to facilitate the conversation about healthy hydration. It adds youth choice and youth voice. And it's way more fun than just saying that we need to drink more water. Of course, like if you're a big fan of social media, you could Instagram your lemon and mint water, your lemon and chia seed water. I love all these examples you all are providing. So just a simple activity. Again, you'll get a link to the Silly Water instructions, and you'll get a link to the calendar where you can actually get the images that I'm sharing on my screen. All right, so this is one of my new favorite books. I'm gonna try and hold it up. Resiliency Through the Arts. And I'll put a link to the Boost Breakfast Club blog in the chat box. So I wrote this article a few weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago, of 8 art activities to encourage wellness at home. And this book that I've showed you is called Resiliency Through the Arts, and it talks about the importance of art activities to really provide a sense of grounding in times of uncertainty and we're going through stress. So I wanted to share a simple art activity connected with berries, and I picked berries because they have a high percentage of water. Back to the hydration theme. So this is making berry ink. So if you're looking for a fun, family-friendly activity that also has like a conservation twist to it, it's as simple as, and I've got a model here, so hopefully you can see. So I have strawberry. I love strawberries. That'd be my answer to one of those intro questions of favorite fruits. So, you know, when you cut strawberries, you always cut the top off, right? So, like, what do you do with the strawberry tops? So typically you throw them out or you put them in a compost, but a simple activity you can do is just to take the top, you could put it in any kind of container, like a mason jar, and then you smash it up. You add a little bit of vinegar, a teaspoon of vinegar and a teaspoon of salt. You mix it together and you have ink. And so your kids can use that ink to decorate paper. You can see the example I have on the screen is a flower. I just used a little paintbrush and used my berry ink to color that red. So simple activity. If you're thinking about take homes, things you can send to families, this is a simple one. And there are plenty more where this comes from in the Commit to Health enrichment curriculum, the Foods of the Month curriculum. You got a link to it. The Berry Ink activity is actually for June. And of course, you can find even more art activities on the Boost blog. What do you think? Pretty simple, right? All right, so we're gonna keep going. So we're gonna shift from art to STEM. And one of my favorite activities from Commit to Health is regrowing celery from celery. So you basically take celery, chop it off, and then you can soak it in water and it will regrow. So I've recently learned about regrowing pineapples. So if you've got access to pineapples, this is a really simple one to try. So I'll have another model to show you here. So this one's been growing. So you're gonna notice that this pineapple has roots on it. And I just spilled water on my laptop, so we'll see what happens there. So you take a few toothpicks, like 3 toothpicks, and you poke the top of the pineapple. You know, when you cut the top off, rather than throwing it away, you take the top, put a few toothpicks in it, and then again, you just soak it in a little bit of water. So this has been sitting on my windowsill for probably a month. And you can see the roots are about 1 inch long. And it's kind of cool. The top is sort of turned into a succulent looking plant. So again, as you're thinking about engaging students in summer learning week starts next week, I believe. This is a simple one that connects healthy foods and hydration and science, and of course is an easy Instagrammable type activity that you can try. So give it a go. Message me on Twitter. I'd love to see how your pineapples or anything you regrow turns out. Maybe I'll ask in the chat box, has anyone ever grown a plant from kitchen leftovers? I've heard of avocado, celery, of course. Get some yeses, some nos, and never. All right, well, maybe it's something you can try. And again, just a fun summer learning kind of activity. Also, nice mindfulness. I've enjoyed checking on the pineapple in the morning. Onions, interesting, Katie. All right, well, I'm gonna keep going. So I wanted to share one more resource related to hydration. This is a tip sheet, again, something you can share with families. It's 8 tips to stay hydrated. Would love to know, what are your tips? How are you all staying hydrated and drinking more water this summer? How are you staying hydrated this summer? Trying is all that matters, Katie. All right, I'm liking these. Bottled water with lemon. That's a great example. Adding berries or other things to make the water flavorful. Yeah. A water purifier. Okay. Adding fruit with a twist. Awesome. Mint and cucumber. Yeah, that's one of my favorites. I think it's just a nice, mindful way to try, make water more interesting. And it's also, I think it gives you an opportunity to break up your day. So if you're on a lot of Zooms, you're getting Zoom fatigue, taking a few minutes to go and prep your infused water is just a nice break from the digital devices. Excellent. Thank you very much for sharing your tips. All right, so I'm almost finished with my time, but I wanted to leave you with another resource. Planning for nutrition and physical activity is always a challenge, right? If you don't plan for it, it might not happen. So we've developed a family activity tracker. This is a simple thing you can print. You could draw your own version. If you have a chalkboard, you could make your own version on the chalkboard. It's a simple resource you can share to keep track of the goals and activities that you might want to add into your day. Got every day of the week, and we've got, I think, 3 weeks. So it'll give you an opportunity to encourage students to goal set and think about additional practices they want to weave into their day. Awesome. I see in the chat box, challenges at home. This is a perfect resource for an at-home challenge. You could keep up with physical activity minutes. You could keep up with healthy steps you've taken, whether that's drinking more water or trying a new fruit or trying a new vegetable. Again, you'll get a copy to all these resources, so don't feel like you have to write this down. Again, our goal at Healthier Generation is just to help you and your family and students you work with be as healthy and happy as possible. 2 additional resources you'll get. One is around water promotion from our partners at CDC. I've specifically called out the page number, page 29, where you can get some promotion strategies. I like them because there's a good amount of youth voice opportunities in those promotion strategies. And of course, the Healthier Generation webpage is a really good landing site for resources, and we've segmented out by families, educators, and employers to make it easier to find what you need. All right, so maybe I'll ask a question real quick. I think I've got some time. In the chat box, of all the resources and activities I shared, which one are you going to try? And if you've got something that you'd recommend, you can put that in the chat box too. Katie's going to try the pineapple. All right, but you got to promise to show me a photo of it. More pineapple, strawberry painting, berry painting, reading, growing veggie scraps, family activity tracker, the conversation starters. Yeah, they're one of my favorites. Just a great way to start a dialogue. All right, we've got some artists here. Excellent. Well, thank you. I am so appreciative again to Boost for inviting me, and I hope you've liked these activities. And one of my goals this year is to just find opportunities to lift up great stories and resources that are happening in our local communities. And I was recently connected with South Carolina State University Extension. And so I asked them to join me today to share some of their resources. And what I like about what they're going to share is that they're focused on budget-friendly tips. So as you think about health and nutrition, one of the #1 things folks automatically go to is it's expensive. So I wanted Extension to share their expertise around shopping on a budget, meal prepping on a budget, and give you some additional resources that you can share with families to, again, address a barrier that we know exists, which is the cost of food. So I'm going to turn it over to the South Carolina Extension team and let them take it from here.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me well, Daniel?
I can hear you.
Great. My name is Boyd Owens. I'm the Upstate Region Director for South Carolina State University's 1890 Extension Program, and we're responsible for Anderson, Greenville, Spartanburg, and Pickens County. And I just want to thank you first for allowing us to give you some good information on budget-friendly tips that you can use when it comes to shopping, and especially during the time that we're facing now. However, I will not be the one doing the presentation. The one that will be doing the presentation is Miss Renee Hall. She's our 4-H Youth Development Extension Agent for the Upstate Region. I also have Miss Uniqua E. Abi. She is our Program Assistant for the Upstate Region, and she'll be another resource if individuals have questions or want some more information about this area. So with that being said, I will turn it over to Miss Renee Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Boyd. My name is Renee Hall, and we are coming to you live from sunny South Carolina. I know that we're your southern visitors today, so I'm very paranoid about my southern dialect. I need to just relax. What we wanted to share real quickly is, as Mr. Boyd shared, I'm with the 4-H Youth Development arm of the Extension program, and basically our goal is to, involve reaching young people, and we do target some limited resource, but we don't deny service or programming to anyone, but to help those young people discover and develop their potential and grow into competent, contributing citizens. We do so by involving them in educational opportunities. We have 4 areas in 4-H that we concentrate on, and today I'm going to mainly combine sort of the healthy lifestyles and money management. Daniel, you can go to that next slide. But with healthy lifestyles, we target students from 4 to 18, although our extension programming also works with adults. I'm speaking directly about 4-H right now. STEAM, which was STEM and then STEAM, and we may even be STREAM pretty soon, introducing science, technology, engineering, math, and we may add arts and reading, and again, trying to target some of our minorities and some of our limited resource folks, but again, we do not deny services to anyone. Financial management, educating on sound money management skills, personal finance, planning, and then citizenship. So specifically with healthy lifestyles, we teach from the Show Me Nutrition curriculum, and we use a little bit of Choose Health, and then with financial management, we've been teaching Out of Money Smart. So when Daniel invited us to speak, he felt that those 2 areas kind of merged together. So as we look at what's going on with the pandemic and what we've been facing since March or so, and even earlier, many people, have seen a drastic decrease in their income, perhaps with the rush on the grocery stores. Some people were going to the stores and not finding what they needed, concerned about making multiple trips to stores and finding empty shelves. So there are wise ways to maybe address that by and the importance of keeping yourself and your family healthy as possible. That's what we're kind of looking at. So we'll go on to the next slide, please, Daniel. So some tips on stretching your food dollars and staying healthy. The first one being plan all your meals and snacks for the next 2 weeks. I hope we don't take an inventory and make ourselves raise our hand if we do or don't do that, because it's hard for me. I'm a mom of 3. But when you do that planning for 2 weeks, perhaps you won't run into as much issue as being exposed as much in the public, having to go to the store multiple times. And then also maybe you can save money by not going as often. First, take an inventory of what you already have. Many of us, I'm again speaking from a mom, may have a lot of things in our cupboards or in our pantries or in our freezers that we could go ahead and get into circulation and use those. So take inventory of what you already have. Then if you shop sales papers or hear of commercials or advertisements of what's on sale, use those as you plan your meals. And then there's a phrase, cook once and eat twice. So there are a couple of, I'm not sure, Daniel, if that will go to them on a link, that it will link to those examples there. I had a link to cook once, eat twice using beef and chicken. So that would naturally mean making the best of leftovers, to prepare in advance to cook once, but have at least, a couple of meals off that food. Another would be making a list before you go, keeping a running list. Some of us hang them on the refrigerator or have those nearby as we run out of items to make that list as we go. And then when we arrive to the store, to stick to the list. Should we have true confession time of who struggles with that? And then avoiding impulse buys. When I speak to young people, and more and more teenagers do some of the shopping for their parent, maybe mom and dad will allow them to go in to the store and shop. We know how our stores are set up sometime in marketing, that they will put things on the end caps that might be more appetizing or more tempting. Many times they are name brand items that would cost more. So those are purposefully placed. How many of us have ever strolled through with our shopping cart? In the South, we call it the buggy. But we roll through, and as the aisles narrow down toward the registers, what's all on the left and the right? Those are our impulse buys. So we want to try to avoid those. We'll go to the next one, please, Daniel. And then to boost our immune system with fruits and veggies. Many of us talk about health and nutrition a lot, but particularly during this time when COVID-19 is around, and maybe as Boyd even shared with us today on a call, that many people, may be walking around with the symptom or with COVID-19 or coronavirus, but not showing the symptoms. And so if we can remain healthy and eat well and do well, that perhaps that would help to deter our being sick during this time. Many people don't feel comfortable shopping for fresh fruits and veggies, produce right now, so prepackaged and canned goods can be just as good. Some are store name versus brand name, so those can taste just as good. Another thing is really important: washing your hands and the produce very well before you even cut it or prepare it or cook it. And my coworker will interject a bit in a little bit about how when we teach with our young people the importance of separating your foods before, if you use a cutting board for the meat, you would use a different cutting board for your veggies, fruits, etc. So being really careful with that. Next would be choosing healthy snacks to limit our high calorie foods. Again, many of us are tempted and drawn toward those items that are quick fix and easy access, but those tend to be higher in fat, sugar, and salt. So if we can limit those high calorie foods and those less healthy foods. And then if we do have things like overripe fruit, that we could use those in a smoothie. So and then the last thing on that one is drink water. And I underline that because Daniel had shared that he was going to focus on staying hydrated. And so the benefits of water, as many of you probably do know, not just physical health or weight loss, but your skin condition, your hair, your fingernails, just overall hydration. Hydration is so important. Next slide, please. Number 5, vary your protein. I tend to be a meat eater. I grew up in the deep South, and I don't guess I need to say anymore. But eggs are a good source of protein. They're inexpensive and versatile. If you do have farmers nearby, we have a lot of people in our community in upstate South Carolina who sell eggs, nearby. So if you're going by a farmer's market to get your tomatoes and your squash and your green beans, then you might also could get some fresh eggs from the farm. There's a recipe there as well for a microwavable frittata. So the microwave would be quick and easy if anyone's concerned about how long you stay in the kitchen. Another would be like going meatless a few days a week. Some of you may already do that. Some may be vegan, some may be vegetarian. But for others, it may be a challenge. But that also could help you with your money because meat sometimes tends to be more expensive. So choosing dry beans or peas and maybe even making a dip out of those. Hummus has been, a popular food, and many people eat that as far as thinking about how healthy it is. But you could make your homemade hummus and not spend what it costs at the grocery. Nut butters, peanut butter, almond butter are also good for protein. Another is about saving at the checkout counter. We also talked about, the impulse buy, but to check your clearance shelves, many times foods are maybe about to expire, that especially things like bread or eggs maybe expired that day or the next day, or maybe they were prepared and then you want to check your timing on that, but you can save significantly there. Also using rewards cards and points. I'm not sure if that's something that's across the nation, but sometimes you might forget that you're a part of the grocery store or the market program. So don't forget to use those and before they expire. Then also there are phone apps that can save you money and also allow you to earn points. And then the last one would be wary of coupons. A lot of people go, well, what do you mean be wary? Why not use those? But if I were to throw this question out for teenagers, I say why not coupons? And most of the time, I don't know that I've ever seen a non-brand item as a coupon. So most coupons are for brand names. So typically the brand name item is already more expensive. So if you don't already use that item, then getting pulled into the temptation of using the coupon to buy it, you still may not be saving money. I hope that makes sense. So those are just some tips on making your food dollars stretch. I'm sure you have more, but those are some things that we use in our teaching. I wanted to give my coworker, Ms. Uniqua Iabi, a chance to input, and then we will open it for questions. Uniqua, are you there?
Well, of course I'm talking with the mute button. Oh my goodness. So I just wanted to thank Mr. Hatcher for allowing us the opportunity to share what we do in the upstate region, but South Carolina State is all over South Carolina. And basically, Renee shared exactly what 4-H and me, I'm an FNF assistant, program assistant, excuse me. So she basically shared, we kind of do the same thing. My program's a little bit different. When I'm working with youth or adults teaching, I have like a set number that I can work with at a time. So, but basically the whole concept of when she shared about nutrition, all of that pertains to me too. We do the same thing basically. I wanted to share that I was so excited to see Mr. Hatcher was talking about water because I'm big on sharing different ways that we can implement water throughout the day. And actually, probably a couple years ago, me and Renee set up at a spring fling, and we had the cucumber and mint water and one more. I can't think of the other one. But it turned out to be a great success. They asked us to come back, and we had some little recipe cards. So I just want to share that. Again, thank you for this opportunity. And basically, everything was said. So I don't want to really reiterate the same thing she just shared. But if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask them.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.